Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Walt's How-Tos and Reviews. So today I'm making a video on 10 things that you probably don't know about the Tesla that could be viewed as a negative attribute. Now, I want to start this off by saying I do love my car. I have no regrets buying it. If you're on the fence of getting, a Model S, I would recommend it. But when I was looking to buy my Model S, I was trying to do research and figure out, what do people like and dislike about it. And it has a huge following. People love the car, and I feel like they didn't want to say anything negative about the car. So it was really hard to find anything other than like catastrophic stuff where basically you have to take it in the shop and get it fixed, but not little things that are permanent or aren't going to really change and that you may or may not like about the car, something that could be negative because, when it comes to any product, it's very rare where something's just completely perfect and you can't find anything wrong about it. So really, the way I think I could sum it up is I could probably make a video on 100 things that I love about Tesla, and it was really hard for me to find 10 things that could be viewed as a negative attribute with the car. So I'm not going to waste any more time and jump right into it. So the first thing is, it's a computer, and like most computers, there's a lot of glitches that happen. I've only had my car for about 4 months, and I think I've had at least 4 to 8 updates, which is a good thing, but with each update I've noticed like little tiny glitches that happen. So with one of the updates, all the text on my screen, it would be a 5-letter word, but you could only see 3 of the letters, and the rest would be filled in with ... which was just really strange to me, and especially when you're new with the car and you don't understand all the controls, it was really hard to navigate and find things. The next update fixed that, but it was one of those little glitches. Something that's happened a lot is I put it in reverse, and I think what's happening is you can set up the car to where when you get out, it goes to easy access, which basically pushes the seat all the way back so it's easier to get in and out of the car. And then once you get ready to go, it moves the seat up to your preferred settings. So I noticed I get in the car, I put it in reverse, and the seat starts moving up. And I think it's right when it reaches its final destination of my settings. Whenever it's in reverse, I'm backing up, and then all of a sudden the car will go into park. And it always scares me because I feel like I hit something, but it's just a weird glitch where it pushes it out of reverse into park. I think that's at least what's happening. It always kind of scares me and is weird to see. And maybe they fix it in the update because I haven't noticed that it happened. But now when I get in the car, I let it fully come up to the seat settings before I start backing up so that doesn't happen, just because I've learned that. But there's a lot of like little computer glitches that just kind of happen to where, one time my service just went out. I didn't have any service to stream or get GPS or anything, and I had to do a little bit of research, and it was just basically restarting the computer, turning it off and on, and that fixed it, no problem. But again, I'm just hitting on little things like that. I could go on for a while actually about things that I just noticed, such as so the next thing is it is like a unique car that people aren't used to. So I have a couple big cracks in my windshield, so I called my insurance company and was like, hey, I want to get my windshield replaced. So they tried to line me up with someone who could replace it, and it took about 3 or 4 times where they lined me up with someone, and then for some reason they figure out, hey, they can't replace it. The first time it said that they could set it up, but then called back and said, oh, we can't reset the lane departure settings, which is basically the cameras and stuff. And then another company advertised that they do that for other cars, but then when I tried to have them installed, they're like, actually, Tesla's a little different, we can't do that. So the solution is, in the state I live in, the closest service center is about an hour and a half away, but I have to actually go to Tesla, have them replace the windshield. It's not a big deal, but it's kind of an inconvenience. And number 3 is going to play right into that. It's very similar. My buddy actually has a Tesla, and he had a leak in his car, and he searched, I think it was about 6 or 7 different places to just get a patch or to fix it, and no one would work on the Tesla wheels for whatever reason. He eventually did find one in our town, but it was just another one of those little nuances that, when something comes up like that, like tires that you don't need to take it to Tesla for, you're gonna have to shop around. It's gonna be a little bit of a hassle to figure out where to fix it, or if you need something like a windshield replaced, it's not just like having a regular car where you can go get it worked on. All right, so number 4 is, when I originally got the car, maybe I didn't do enough research, and you have range, right? But upon further inspection, you realize that it's not recommended to charge the battery. So any lithium ion battery, if you let it go all the way to 0 and then charge it all the way to 100, that's going to make the battery life not last as long, and it's going to degrade the battery over time. So it's recommended to keep it as close to like 50% as possible. So ideally it would be like 55 to 45% is all that you drive. And it's not a big deal, but the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of thinking that goes into it. So what's nice is you can set how much you want it to charge to, and I don't have to drive much. So I charge it to about 70%, and then usually I'll drive it to about 40%. It's back in my garage charging. But if you're going to go on a trip or go somewhere where you're going to be doing a lot of driving in a day, you have to think ahead and tell it to charge up more so that you have the extra battery life. But it was just kind of surprising to me that it's not recommended to actually use the full range. You definitely can, but you know, I want this thing to last and I want to take care of it, and eventually I want to sell it, have like somebody buy it as a used vehicle, and I just want to take care of it as best I can so that they have a good experience with it. But it's just, the point is, it's just a lot of thinking. Another thing that's kind of interesting that I didn't know about is that it's kind of hard to predict how long you actually are going to need to charge for, because sometimes, you know, if you're going on a trip or something, it's like, hey, I'm just going to hit this supercharger, should only have to sit there for about 10 minutes and then I'm off on my way, based on, like, you know, what's happened in the past. But something I realized is if your battery is like under 10% and you plug it into a supercharger, it's going to charge it to 50% a lot faster than it's going to go from 50 to 90%, which is just something I didn't know about, and it's just really hard to plan for. Another thing that was really interesting is if your battery is cold. So, you know, we were up in Estes Park, I just wanted to go charge it real quick. I didn't let the car really warm up, and it was really cold outside. But when the battery's cold and you haven't driven the car that much, it charges slower when it's cold. So yeah, basically I'm just saying, with all the charging, it is actually more thinking than I thought. So another one is, it's actually really hard not to speed in this car. That's kind of a testament to Tesla. They did a great job in terms of it's very smooth, very luxurious, and you know, all of a sudden we'll be going 90 and it does not feel like you're going 90. It feels like you're going maybe 50, 60. So again, I'm just really trying to find things to complain about here, but it is something like, I think you're more likely to get a speeding ticket in a Tesla just because it is so easy to speed. All right, so another thing, at least with the Model S, I'm not sure with the Model 3, is the depreciation rate. So I bought my car used, and it was only 3 years old and had 37,000 miles on it. When it was brand new, it was $133,000. When I bought it, it was $65,000. So that, in my opinion, is huge depreciation. I guess I haven't really compared it to other cars in terms of percentage of depreciation in such a short time, but that was like kind of alarming for me, and you know, one of those things that's negative. So another thing is, you know, the interior is actually pretty plain and simple, and that could be viewed as a good thing, but there's really not much space. Like, there's nothing in the doors to put stuff. There's just two cup holders that are kind of in an awkward, weird place where your elbow hits. You know, you can buy a center console from Tesla that's like $1,000, or you can get an aftermarket one like I did that actually works really good. But when you first get the car, there's not a lot of storage room, and it's just not like other cars that I've been in where there's a lot of like little compartments to store stuff and things like that. All right, so the next one is the key fob. You know, it normally works good, but I've had a lot of issues with mine to where I walk up to the car and the handles don't come out. And, you know, I have to like pull out my key, like put it right next to the handle, push on it a few times, and then maybe it works. Sometimes I have to hit the unlock on my key fob. I've just had some issues, and actually when I first got the car from Tesla, it wasn't working, and like I went to the service center and then all of a sudden it started working. So it's just always kind of, maybe it's just a unique thing for mine, but it's always kind of been a weird issue that doesn't work well. I thought maybe it was the batteries going low, but I figured it would tell me if that was going on, and sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. And to be honest, 90% of the time it works perfect, but those 10% of the times it doesn't work that good. So here's one little gripe about Tesla is, you know, when you go on their website and you go to buy a car, they always want to show you the net costs. And what I mean by net is they subtract, like, you know, this is how much you're going to save on gas. You know, it is nice if you get tax rebates. I bought a used car and you don't get any tax rebates for that, but they reduce all these costs and show you some costs where you're like, whoa, really, that's what it is? And then you realize, oh no, the actual cost is this. They're just subtracting all this stuff. But it's like, well, why don't you put in the cost to install a charger at your home? Or if you don't have a home, you're always going to be planning on, you know, stopping by places where you can charge it, and that to me would be a huge hassle and a huge downside. I have another buddy that lives in an apartment, and he got a Tesla all excited, and he didn't realize, like, he's not going to be able to set up at his apartment a charging station. So he's always having to do a lot of planning when it comes to charging, in terms of hitting a supercharger, or his gym has it's not a supercharger but charges electric cars. So just a lot of planning for him, and I could tell it's kind of a downside, but he doesn't like to talk about it because he loves his Tesla, and we all love our Teslas. Like, I truly do love my Tesla. Okay, so the 10th bad thing about Tesla that you might not know about is it's really hard to find anything that you don't like about the Tesla Model S. I know you could be like, well, that's a pretty lame one, and if you look at number 1, I mentioned a bunch of glitches. I could have easily turned that into another like 5 or something, but I really just want to drive home this point that this Tesla, I mentioned 10 things mainly because I know there's somebody else out there that was like me, who wanted to buy the vehicle and was afraid that they have such a fanboy base where everybody just loves the car that you're not going to be able to really find those little things that you might not like. So I just wanted to make a video to clear that up for you. Like, yeah, there's a couple little things that you might not like. You can go test drive the car, see for yourself. I see a lot of people saying, oh, the molding doesn't match up, this and that, but it's like, you can go see it and drive it, and it's an incredible, amazing car. Yeah, the main reason I wanted to make this video was just to alleviate that fear of somebody, because I know if you're like me, I was buying a used vehicle, and you're actually not allowed to check out the vehicle before you buy it. So maybe I just had a really good experience, but I just wanted to put your mind at ease knowing that, hey, it's really hard to find anything bad with the car, and all those little things that I just mentioned are way outweighed by all the things I love about the car. In the future, I'll probably make a video on all the great things about the car that you might not know about. And I waited to post this video a while. You can see my background's changed when it's a really snowy day here in Colorado, and again, I was out driving trying to figure out is there anything I don't like about it in the snow, and it is phenomenal in the snow. Better than I thought it would be. It's really impressive. My wife has a 4-wheel drive BMW. I can't compare it to my Lexus that I used to have because it was front-wheel drive, and all-wheel drive versus front-wheel drive. It's not even the same, but I don't even have snow tires on right now, and it's handling better than I thought it would. I've driven a lot of all-wheel drive vehicles, and I know how they feel and stuff, and I don't know how exactly it works with the computer adjusting torque and things to the wheels, but I feel really safe in the car. Obviously, I'm a fan of Tesla. I really love everything that it's about, everything it stands for, American made, all that stuff. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys watching the video. I'll make a couple more Tesla videos in the future. If you guys want to comment on anything that you've noticed that you didn't like about your Tesla, put them in the comments. And if there's any particular questions that you have, put them in the comments and I'll answer them for you. And thanks again for watching. See you next time.